Let's talk. Welcome to this week's Informants, END.formants. You can find us on Facebook. It's the 4th episode of our series so far. It's our world. Let's talk about it. I want to introduce you to Brian Meadows. Brian, how are you this week?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good. Jenny Reed. Jenny, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks, Jenny. Paula Rhodes, the co-founder of the show. Paula, how are we?
I'm fantabulous. How are you, Lisa?
That's great, and I bet you 3 years from now I see that in Webster or Funkin' Rhodes, whatever. Tina, how are you this week?
I'm doing great, Lisa. Thanks.
All right, everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and I want to start off the show by saying that we honestly thank all of our over 300 followers, which we've decided to call likeables because Paula doesn't want to be responsible for where we make you follow us to. So for our 300 likeables, we want to say thank you. We also want to say we've gotten a lot of well wishes and holiday wishes from you guys, and it's appreciated from our hearts. So thank you to those likeables that have reached out to us and given us support. We are addressing hopefully this week with the audio issues that you guys have made an issue about, and we got that. We understand that. So to start off right away, I want to go ahead with some topics that we had on the Facebook wall. However, there was one topic that we addressed twice, and I was surprised that nobody jumped on this. The question that was on our Facebook wall, which nobody really responded to, was about Palestine being allowed to join in the UN. And I wish people would have commented on that. Paula, I believe you have some comments about that. So I'd like for you to start us off with what your opinion is on that, please.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Actually, Palestine wasn't admitted to the UN. What happened was the UN voted to recognize Palestine as a country, and it's absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. That would be like days after the attack on 9/11, the UN voting to give Al-Qaeda the state of New York. That's how preposterous it is. That would be like if squatters, let's say Tina Furna took a vacation to Hawaii, and while she was in Hawaii, squatters moved into her house. That would be like the squatters, when she comes back 2 weeks later, telling her they own the house, and then a committee of idiots voting to give them the house. That's essentially what the UN did. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. Number one, there's never been a country of Palestine, and there's never been a people of the Palestinians. The word Palestine is actually derived from the Philistines, which is an ancient people that since have, disappeared off the face of the earth. What happened was the Palestinians, if you will, are squatters in an area that have always belonged to the Israelis, to the Jews. It was given to them by God, and if you're an atheist, Israel was purchased by the Israelis. The land was purchased by the Israelis. They purchased it rightfully from the Arabs that were selling it. So they have if you don't believe in the biblical argument it belongs to the Jews, believe in the financial argument that it belongs to the Jews.
So basically, let me just understand something. In other words, what you're saying is, so that we better understand it, is that it would be like the way that the Indians purchased parts of the United States of America at the very beginning. Am I correct in that? That the Jews...
Actually, what the Jews did it's not unlike as if the Native Americans fought back.
No, absolutely no. Ridiculous argument. That's ridiculous. You're comparing the Indians to who? The Palestinians or the Israelis?
No, to the Hebrews. To the Jews.
Okay. Thanks, Brian. Sorry, I jumped on you. But it's not even that, because the Palestinians, I mean, I understand what you're saying, Brian, but the Israelis, number one, the Jews were given that land, I mean, by God, and they conquered it, I mean, in many, many wars, and they bought the land. So it's really not like the Indians. It really isn't. I mean, it's the Jew. It isn't. It isn't.
Okay, now wait a minute, Paula. I just want to make something clear. It was me that brought up the comparison, and I brought it up as in leaving the biblical sense out of it.
Okay, well, leaving the biblical sense out of it, Lisa, because you really don't even need to bring the biblical sense into it, because the Jews conquered that land in many wars way before Israel was born. I'm talking about ancient times up through modern times, and they purchased the land rightfully before they came to Israel. And you know what Israel was before the Jews came over? It was a parched sandbox with nothing. It was in ruins. The Jews came in and made it a prosperous, you know, beautiful land. They made it what it is today. Israel has probably the best, most vibrant economy in the world, and the most millionaires per capita. And the Palestinians are treated better in Israel than they are by their Arab brethren. And you know what? I just think it's hilarious, and actually it's tragic. It's tragic, and it would be funny if it wasn't so tragic that just days after these bloodthirsty, vile creatures were senselessly and mercilessly bombing Israel, the United Nations voted to recognize them as a country? Are you joking? Again, I'm going to say this again at the risk of saying this ad nauseum, but that would be like days after 9/11, the United Nations voting to give Al-Qaeda, the perpetrators of 9/11, the state of New York as their own.
Okay.
That's how preposterous it is.
Okay, well, I saw Brian doing a lot of motioning, and I want to give Brian a chance to say something. Brian,
Yes.
I don't know if you were agreeing with Paula or if you weren't agreeing with.
For the most part, I am. Most of what Paula says is absolutely true. That before the Jews started returning, and actually it was before Herzl started modern Zionism, about 15, 20 years before, then they started basically to bring the land alive again, and they also attracted Arab immigration from the surrounding areas, because between 1888 and 1948, there wasn't all that much natural increase of population from anybody, but there was an increase. Why? Because people were coming in, both Jewish and Arab, more Arab than Jewish, actually. Just one thing, though, I still am not sure, other than the covenantal, other than the covenant with God, where the difference is between the Jews and, say, the Native Americans starting to buy back land the same way, if and when they can. Because admittedly, when they first came over the land bridge, there wasn't anybody else here, but they fought wars enough with each other and either absorbed or kicked out other tribes or nations or whatever. So I guess that's the only point on which I'm not clear. What's the difference between them? Because both are cases of people's sort of reclaiming their ancestral land.
Okay, so let me go on to another question. Jenny, did you have a comment on this? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out. Jenny,
No, I'm good.
Okay, and you know, I don't want to comment on it because I don't know enough about it, if I'm honest with you, and I just found it to be with what I did know, that it was appalling that the UN has recognized them, when I thought, and I'm naive about a lot of things, I thought the UN was about building a better relationship with the countries. So
That's what it's supposed to be about.
yeah, well, that's what I thought it was about. So that's why I was like, "Whoa, that's a hot topic." But again, nobody responded to it, and I don't know if it's because a lot of people don't know about it or whatever. How?
I think a lot of people just don't understand enough to
Well,
comment.
I'll tell you. Okay, I will explain why. Okay, why people feel how they feel. Okay.
Yeah, you're on. I want you to.
I'll explain why in America. I'll focus on America. Most Americans rely on the mainstream media for their news. They don't do a lot of research, so they believe the biased Western media who's biased against Israel. And that is why. They don't understand. I have had so many debates, not only with my non-Jewish friends, but with my Jewish friends who are not, knowledgeable on the topic. They don't know anything about it. They rely on sound bites and YouTube bits and what the news tells them. Do research before you make an opinion, or you form an opinion. Have an informed opinion. Most people do not have an informed opinion, and that is the problem.
Oh, I agree. Brian has his hand up.
Okay.
Brian has his hand up.
In the first place, I couldn't concur more with Paula about doing the research. Second, I think another thing which the West kind of suffers from, to some extent, is what I call noble savage freakery. I think there is a portion of people in Europe and North America who sort of see the Arabs as noble savages.
Noble.
Let me finish.
That would be like calling Charles Manson like a
Let me finish, please. It's an expression.
I know it's an expression. It's an expression. It's ridiculous.
And let me finish what I'm saying here.
Okay.
I'm saying that because of this idea, there's some are sort of infatuated, I think, with Arabs. But the plain fact of it is the Jews who are much more like the indigenous people of the area. I mean, it is the Jews who are comparable to the Native Americans and the Arabs to the stinking peckerwood whites.
Okay, Brian, I think you're pretty...
With that analogy that between the Indians and the Jews at all. But I've heard that before. I don't agree with it.
Listen, I want to make something 100% clear. I've not heard the comparison before. However, when you were bringing it up, that's where my mind went, and that's why I said, Paula, what's the difference between the two? So,
Yeah.
that's where my mind went. It wasn't something that I decided on. It was just where my mind went. Okay? In comparison, and that's why it was brought, I wanted to bring it to your attention because unfortunately, again, nobody really commented at all about it. And to me, it was a concern just because of the fact that, I know that they don't like us, and I can't see where it's a benefit for them to be recognized and or joined by United Nations, which is supposed to have the best interest of these countries at heart.
I can tell you a thing or two about that.
Go ahead, Brian.
Both Arabs and peckerwood whites suffer from a common malady, as it were. It's called inbreeding. And to tell the truth, the Arabs have it much, much worse than peckerwood whites do. They have been inbreeding for over 1,000 years, and probably in large part because of that.
Maybe their sisters are hot.
What?
Paula's rule. If she's hot, let it slide.
Hey,
I missed it. Damn, I missed it. But anyway, my point being here is the inbreeding kind of lessens the mental capacity of subsequent generations.
I understand what incest. I think it's all clear that probably everybody that watches the show knows what incest and inbreeding is. So I got that. I did want to start.
What it does, I'm talking about.
I'm sorry?
I'm talking about what it does, not what it is.
Oh, I know, but I know what it does too, as far as the deformities and
Right.
you know, and you know, things that are truly unfortunate when something like that actually happens. All right, so I want to go to I guess a more lighthearted topic, which was on our Facebook page, and it was, what song describes your current or last relationship? And I gotta tell you that JR said that her last relationship, You Haven't Seen the Last of Me by Cher, and the song for her current relationship is Finally Found Someone. She's a Cher fan. Debbie says last relationship was Smile by Uncle Cracker, and I Don't Look Back on Past Relationships. Is that a song title, or is she saying she doesn't look back on past relationships? Alright, because you never know. My friend and co-founder of the show, Paula, says her last relationship was Tubular Bells, which is the theme from The Exorcist, which makes us ask question again. Miss Rhodes, who the fuck do you date? I mean...
Wait a minute. All right, let me just...
I want you to defend that, Paula.
All right, wait. Lisa. Most of my exes have been really good girls.
We wouldn't know, Paula, by you telling us.
But there were a couple that probably had 3 6s on their head.
That goes to show you where Paula looks.
Definitely my last relationship, the theme was Tubular Bells from The Exorcist. You know, when somebody levitates on the bed, it could make for interesting sex. That's all I'm going to say.
Man, I'm running out the door if somebody's levitating on my bed, just so you know.
Not if they're really hot.
I wanted to say that Debbie...
Hot chocolate or not, then we're destined for 100 years of solitude.
I want to say that Debbie says, Paco, you're too funny. And I responded to Drops of Jupiter because that's by Train, because that's what my ex dedicated to me, and when I heard it, it made sense. So I kind of say that. And I asked Paula on the Facebook page, again, Paula, who do you date? But Barbara says toxic was her last relationship, and current relationship is moves like Mick Jagger, or moves like Jagger. Jock said beat it, and you know, we often have to wonder with Jock what the hell he's beating. Debbie said,
Is he actually in a relationship?
we gotta wonder. Jock, that's to you, babe. Are you in a relationship or what's up? Debbie again said that she loved Drops of Jupiter. Thank you, Debbie. I wish I'd have written the song. Sean said and Sean's a newer likable, so we appreciate you, Sean. As we appreciate, again, all of the 300 people that have taken the time to like our page. Sean says his last relationship is There's a Light Over the Frankenstein Place, which is from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And his new relationship is I Am by Army of Lovers. I'm Alone and Happy. Now, I thought he took that from like an Alanis Morissette. I'm alone and I'm happy. And that's going to be that. I shouldn't have done that. I'm not going to edit it, though. So now I'm going to ask you, Tina. We know that Paula's is Tubular Bells. God, I love Paula Rhodes. She's got a heart of gold. But I got to teach her about red lights when it comes to people. Tina, I want you to tell us, if you would, last relationship, what's the song that comes to your mind?
There's a country song called What Was I Thinking? And that pretty much sums it up.
I think there's a song in every language that, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
And current relationship, if you're in one, Tina?
I'm gonna say Lady Antebellum's I Run to You.
Very nice. Okay, so now we're going to go to Jenny. Jenny Reed.
Hello again. You probably remember I was married last week, and believe it or not, I'm still married.
Well, we were going to ask you because that's like a running theme. So I was going to ask you if we're still in the relationship this week, and you've said yes, so we're still successful, Jenny. Okay. I didn't know you were married last week. I mean, you weren't physically married last week. You've been continually married.
Correct.
Okay. So what's the song,
Yeah,
Jenny?
Well, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I wrote a song for my sweetie when we first got together, and that's the only one I can think of. And please don't ask me to sing for you. You'll be sorry. You'll lose viewers.
Well, okay, but can you tell us the name of the song?
Well, I call it As the Deer.
As the Deer, okay.
Yeah, I will speak the words if you promise not to make me sing them.
I can't make you do anything, Jenny. You're in Virginia and I'm in New York. Can't make you do anything.
Oh, cool.
But at least give us either the hook or the verse that's most important to you.
Well, it's a very short song. The words are, "As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to make love to you." Remember, I was horny and young then. That's it. But she liked it.
I'm sure she did.
She did read it.
Well, it worked. You married.
Yes, it did.
That's true. I'm going to go to Brian. And by the way, those are beautiful lyrics, Jenny.
Yes.
Brian, your last relationship song and your current relationship song, if you'll share it with us.
Well, let's see. I was thinking of a song for my last relationship, but I forgot it, unfortunately. Not that the relationship resembles that. It was a very important relationship for my life. My current relationship, I think of two songs. Queen's "You're My Best Friend," and also Rod Stewart's "Hot Leg."
I love Rod Stewart, and I loved Queen. So anyway, for this week's Informants, which will probably end up breaking into 4 shows again, I do want to thank everybody for joining us. We are going to put ourselves out there by asking some people if they'd like to be rotating hosts. Our rotating hosts usually last for a month. I don't know if anybody's going to be leaving us this week and we're going to be getting new people in or not. Obviously, those hosts will know before the public knows because that's the right thing to do if we make those kind of changes. And any changes don't have to be permanent changes because we're still learning this. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed this past month of shows. We're trying. If any of our likables has any ideas on how to make the shows better, we're definitely interested in hearing about that. Feedback's very important to us. We all ask you that when we put a topic on the wall, we ask that you participate. And if there's a topic that you're interested in, we ask that you bring it to our attention so that we can put it on the wall and we can all participate. Is there anything else that anybody would like to say before we end the show? Paula, you got anything you want to say before we end the show?
No.
Okay.
Whoa.
Tina.
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay. Jenny Reed.
Smile and be happy.
That's pretty important. Brian Meadows.
Hi, Jim.
Okay. All right, guys. So thank you, and again, thanks for your support. And just pay attention to our walls. Please participate in it. Without the wall, we really don't have a show. So thank you, everybody, and have a good week.
You too.
Bye,
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.